Okay, so ideas of morality, I think maybe became more stringent or formalised, like when religion itself became more of a set of rules that people had to follow rather than sort of wider philosophies. But to be honest, I don't know the accuracy really of that statement, because when I think about sort of what I know about pagan religions, I sort of think of them as being more open or free or open to interpretation, but that might not be accurate. Sort of original ideas of, say, like not just killing people for pleasure probably comes down to ideas of like you need a community to like survive, and you need like other people around you, so therefore like going and killing everyone, like it's not really conducive.
Sort of the idea of being a serial killer is something that didn't really exist until the Victorian era, and it actually came along side by side with the rise of the printing press, because the idea is that people with a sort of with psychopathic tendencies feed off the fame that the killing gets them. And before there were newspapers and things like that, that idea of sort of you know, becoming famous for killing and then enjoying that attention, that kind of gratuitous acts of violence, and that's somehow tied up in like their ego or power or fame, or that sort of like what we would call like kind of a sick enjoyment. I think that's to do with the recognition that they get from it.
Okay.
And maybe like prior to that, violence was more either like I'm in a vulnerable position, someone's going to hurt
for
me,
protection,
so I'll hurt them back. Yeah.
Would you say that's any way linked to like killing other species, so the recognition of the power or ego?
I mean, I think it depends, because from the people that I know who are vegetarian, for example, quite a few of them say that if it's more an issue with farming than it is with actually the idea of killing an animal. So, for example, and then I actually have some friends who are vegetarians who think the very act of killing an animal is like inherently wrong. I feel really, really strongly about farming, and I don't eat a lot of meat, and I just eat happy meat, which is meat that's come from, I guess, farms where
like organic, like free range farms.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then at the same time, we can survive without eating meat, and also there are lots of kind of environmental reasons of why like the meat industry is so
like methane and gas.
Yeah. To be honest, I think if people had to, I think the only reason a lot of people are sort of okay with it is probably because it just seems like a far distant concept. Like if you think about it, like how often are people even really around animals?
Yeah.
Like really, like maybe like dogs and cats. But I think if we were around animals and we saw them and we looked after them and we had bonds with them, that would change it. But most
do you
people,
think if someone, like if you were on a farm, have you lived in a city all your life, or did you live in countryside?
Like semi-rural before. But
okay. But like if you had to kill your own meat, do you think you'd be able to?
No, I don't.
Okay.